You're listening to the Savoir Faire Audio Experience.
Are you ready? The bass be louder.
The Savoir Faire Experience is your guide to everything that has to do with lifestyle. From dating, rides, style, and entertainment. All brought to you by the editor of Savoir Faire magazine, Robert White. Anything goes on this audio experience. So, let's go.
It's still the best.
All right, guys, welcome to the Savoir Faire Audio Experience, and thank you for listening to our podcast. And we have another great episode today. This one's very cool, actually. I'm really excited to talk to Jeff Szur today about his company and what they're doing. I feel like this is going to be on a global scale, Jeff. Like, I had no idea that people were sucking air into a machine and making water from it.
I know it's a great thing. Everyone, the wow factor when I start speaking with someone is always great, and we are starting to go global as well. We just turned on the faucets in Cameroon, Africa, so we're really excited about that.
No, this is cool, and I'm definitely interested in learning a lot more about you and your company and the partnership and situation you have with your dad with the company as well. But let's just dive into you a little bit. Give me some of your backstory. I want to know about kind of where you grew up, childhood, college, all the little basic stuff.
Sure. I grew up in a small town called Milltown, New Jersey, which the tagline is 1 square mile of happiness. And they really had a mill. And my dad was still is an entrepreneur, and really provided well for my older brother and myself. And I was the typical outgoing athlete, where my dad always coached me in football and in the different sports I did. And then he put me through a private high school called Petty High School in Hightstown, New Jersey, which is a rival of Lawrenceville. So I was blessed to receive top-notch education. And then from there, I went to Vanderbilt University, to the dismay of most of my family, since they were all Rutgers graduates, and including my brother. But I wanted to branch out. I wanted to go down south and go there. I started in thinking I was going to be a doctor and be pre-med, and then all of a sudden I said, "Oh, this really isn't for me." And growing up with the entrepreneurial background, I decided to do economics and business. And then I've had various companies, but I ended up owning some restaurants in New Jersey, and at the same time, my dad owns a whole bunch of oil wells. He has the designation back in 1982. We hit the largest oil and gas well in right outside of Jamestown, New York, the largest oil and gas well in New York State. So he has an oil and gas background, and he had some wells in Louisiana, and he sold his wells. So we were both liquid at the same time, and so we looked at each other and said, "Okay, what do we want to do when we grow up?" And we spent about 6 months doing due diligence on different sectors, and we believed that oil was going to be the next water. So we looked at different technologies in the water industry, and found the atmospheric water generators, which is, like you said, the wow factor. And it made sense, right? Because you walk under an air conditioner and you feel that water dropping on you. So, air conditioners, dehumidifiers, but we were intrigued because it's nature's way of purifying all the water that's on this earth since it was created, right? We have the same amount of water on our earth as the day that our planet was created. And that, I found over the years, one of the things I learned is nature does it right. Humans are the ones that mess things up. So this water cycle that we learned in 7th grade really came to life in evaporation, transfiguration, and transpiration and condensation. And that cycle is what nature uses to keep its water pure. So if we can tap into nature's water cycle, we thought we had something. So from there, we started selling, just being distributors of what I call the first generation atmospheric water generators that were made in China. Use reverse osmosis filtration and UV lights to keep the water pure. And about a year into it, we started seeing total dissolved solids in the rising, which is a meter test that just basically tells you the stuff that shouldn't be in your water. It doesn't tell you what it is. And we were like, how is this happening? We're starting with pure water, and we traced it to the biofilm in the tubing. So that's come to light with in the dental industry. And anytime you store water, bacteria, it's a perfect environment for bacteria to grow. So we made a decision to look at nature again and look at ozone as being the water purifier to keep not only the water pure, but the machines pure. So back in about 2008, 2009, we started doing the research and development in Trinidad for our own machines, got the patent on ozone purification in atmospheric water generators, and brings us, a little bit forward to today. Not so much the Reader's Digest version, a little longer than that, but
yeah,
gives you a little history.
No, I appreciate that, man. That's cool. I'm glad you went to Vanderbilt too. I'm a Tennessee boy myself, so. I have New York roots for sure. Lived in Jersey for a little while, but I also went to Tennessee for music when I was a kid, and then I went to college there as well. I went to Belmont. So
Tennessee is such a beautiful, beautiful state. It really is.
It really is. And I picked up on quite a bit of that stuff you're talking about. So that's awesome, man. This is really cool technology. I went down a rabbit hole like this past summer for camping, and this crazy little rabbit hole. Like, I just want to go out and camp, and I want to do these things. And so I started watching like all these different YouTube videos of people that were, if you're out camping, you're most likely you're bringing fresh water with you in a plastic bottle or something. Like you're bringing something, at least city water with you. And then I started watching these kind of like adventure guys that are out there trying to figure out how to purify water. And it's like this whole boiling system. And then I saw one guy that dug a hole in the ground and was like trying to get condensation off of plastic that he found to go into a dish so they could have fresh water. And then when I was like, I'm still in this kind of like rut of trying to learn some of these kind of, living on the land type of things. But then I saw this email about your product, and I started looking at it, and I was like, oh, whoa, wait a second. Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk to this guy, because I'm like, Jeff is in the midst of this water purification system that is just cool. Like I think just yesterday I was watching somebody that was stuck on a desert island. Not really, but like for this video they're making, and they had no way of making water. And I'm like, well, if they had this thing like in a cooler or something smaller that was like compacted. Now, does the technology allow you to do something that small? Because that's just an idea I want to throw at you right now.
Well, let me put it to you this way. Think about this. You're out on a summer day, and you're boating and everything like that. And you pull up the boat onto this bar, and they bring you a glass of water, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and they put a coaster under it because everyone laughs and says your glass is sweating, right? Well, the interesting thing is the water that condensates on the outside of your glass is purer than the water that's on the inside of your glass. So if you have temperature change, it's all about the dew point. So water's properties are amazing. I could tell you based on temperature and humidity how much water is in a cubic meter of air, because that's just the way that water works. Water is in one of three forms. It's either in a liquid, a gas, or a solid form.
Yep.
And so just when you're sitting there at the bar, you're making water. That glass of water is a water maker, because the warm, moist air will hit it, and that the water that's in the air, since the glass of water is below the dew point is the temperature at which water will condense from a gas form into a liquid form. So that glass is actually making purer water than the bartender poured into your glass. Because when water goes from a gas form to a liquid form, none of the contaminants go through that transformation. That's why I say it's nature's way of reversing what man has been doing, which is throw all these nasty chemicals. The engineer's creed, the solution to pollution is dilution. Take a large amount of this nasty chemical and throw it in a big body of water and dilute it down to a level that the government says it's still okay to drink. You keep doing that. You keep kicking the can down the road. The only thing you end up doing is stubbing your toe, right? So, right. So if you have, the beautiful thing, like you're out there in survival in the morning, if you go and find these plants with these big leaves, okay, because of the temperature change in the morning, having that cooling effect, the dew on the grass in the morning, right? That's nature's way of making water. So if you get those, elephant ear plants, or those plants that, in Tennessee, and, bend the leaves and have all the dew go into a puddle and go into your glass, that's actually the purest water that you could have.
That's so cool. And people don't even, it's almost the annoyance thing, right? Like the dew collecting and all that stuff. People are so annoyed by it, but then, man, I'm a little bit overwhelmed by our conversation, because I had these are the things that I think about as an entrepreneur all the time. Like, where's the next big thing? And I'm like, oh, like you even talked about gas and oil. Like that was a thing for the longest time, right? That's where your dad got his fortune from. And then you guys just talk about just sitting at a bar with a glass of water, and I'm imagining this thing, and I'm like, I don't even like the dew on the outside. And now you're telling me this story, and I'm like, well, this is
you'll have a new appreciation, right?
Yeah.
Right? You'll have a new appreciation. I mean, and so that was really, as we've innovated and as we've brought this technology from a concept and from what nature does to make it economical and be able to put it into a machine that you can provide in your house, we've stuck with that whole nature thing. So again, ozone is the gas that provides a layer of protection to our earth, right? And and so that ozone is O3. Okay, 3 oxygen molecules. And what makes ozone such a powerful, it's 1,900 times more powerful of a water purifier than chlorine, and it's natural. So what makes it that way is the third oxygen molecule is what's known as a radical. So it detaches from the compound and actually oxidizes any bacteria, viruses, metals, things like that in your water. So that's why it's so powerful. And again, nature creates it. So if you're in a thunderstorm and lightning strikes by you and you smell that sweet smell, that's ozone. So we can make ozone through an electrical charge, through a corona discharge ozone generator, and capture that ozone and inject it into the water. So now you're starting with the purest water, and you're keeping it pure from any bacteria that's trying to get in there and grow. And then, of course, with this huge growth of alkaline water, and people, whatever your take is on alkaline and cancer, we don't make any medical claims. But since people wanted alkaline water, we had 2 choices. We can use ionization. There's all these ionizer machines that basically mix up the electrons to increase the pH, or you can do mineralization. And we said, again, nature does it with mineralization. So we actually have a filter that puts calcium and magnesium and those minerals into the water to raise the pH to 7.8 to 8.2 level. So again, I like to say that we make water with technology licensed by Mother Nature. That's what our goal is to stay as close to nature as possible, because nature does it right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the concept of this whole thing. I really do. This is really cool. So talk to me a little bit about Altitude Water in general as a business. I mean, you guys are obviously using your technology for good all over the world. What kind of things are you doing to kind of bring water to places that don't currently have it?
Well, we've had just a fantastic year. First off, I'm the one speaking to you, and what I always say is, I guess I'm the guy steering the ship, but I've got a team around me of, I call them engineers. They might not have their engineer degree, but they're engineers because they've been building these machines for 15 years, and they have a heart as a team to do good and do well, not only to have a successful company, but use that company to try and be a part or a piece in helping people in this huge water crisis that we have around the world. So this year we built our first solar disaster relief trailer. I say solar because last year we did disaster relief trailers in Maui for the Maui wildfires, which was a huge success. And really appreciate the vision. Teamwork makes the dream work is one of our mottos. And Joakim Noah, Yannick Noah, and Cecilia Rode of Noah's Ark Foundation, they've been using our home and office unit. And when the wildfire struck, Cecilia lives in Maui, and actually Joakim, the basketball player, and Yannick, the tennis player, they were all on a family trip when that happened. And they raised $150,000 in 3 days and purchased our first disaster relief trailer, because Cecilia said, you guys go out and take the grandkids and everything, because it's so horrific. Get out into the forest, and I'm going to call Jeff, and we're going to get some water down here because now disaster has struck at our back door, which I think everyone has to start realizing we got to stop being reactionary and start being preparatory as a race. Mm-hmm. But so we then did this year through donors and the Mind Army, which is another nonprofit that believes that pure drinking water is your inalienable right. We built a solar trailer that really takes 10 years of disaster relief that we've done experiences and put it into one trailer. So we have a trailer that can make 210 gallons of water a day from the air. We used our ozone purification to be able to purify 1,000 gallons of water. We have 60 kilowatts of battery storage and panels that can make 12 kilowatts an hour. And we have a Starlink and mobile so that communications can be done. So after we built this, obviously this year disaster struck. Hurricane Helene went through Florida, but really devastated and made Asheville look apocalyptic. So we sent our trailer through support of footprintproject.org, who was based in Perry, Florida. We sent the trailer there, dropped off 400 gallons. They said, well, we really need the trailer up in Asheville. It went up to Asheville. They had found Grassroots Aid Partnership, which is a wonderful organization that feeds people during disasters, sponsored by Dr. Bonner with the soaps and stuff like that. But they're based in Asheville. And again, disaster came to their doorstep. They usually travel to Haiti or California wildfires or all these other places, but their food trailers were not affected. Their warehouse was not affected. So they took their trailers out to feed people, and they realized they didn't have water to cook the food, and they didn't have electricity. Well, Footprint knew our trailer was coming up there, so 2 days after disaster struck, we teamed up with Grassroots, and our trailer assisted in making 600 meals the first 3 days per day, the first 3 days, and got it up to 1,000 meals a day in downtown Asheville, right across from the fire station. And again, it takes a village to feed and hydrate the village, and all of these nonprofits coming together. So that's one area that was of huge significance, not only on the business level, but on a heart level, because to know that your technology is helping people. And the second thing is 3 years of work, almost 3 years. I got a email on December 31st, 2001 from a nonprofit called Aquavero, a bunch of entrepreneurs believing that, this air-to-water technology could help people in Africa. And so we started on the journey, and just through God's grace, got partnerships with some great nonprofits in Africa, and ended up deciding in Cameroon, which is where the Noahs are from. And my lead engineer, Jamie Ditzler, just came back. We just turned on the taps. L'Oreal Women's Sustainability Fund donated $350,000. It was a $500,000 project. We built a water hub in a remote village with no electricity, where the women travel 4.5 kilometers a day to get their water from a dirty river, the same river that they wash clothes in. And a village of 1,000, they average between 4 and 6 water-related deaths a year. And I got to see the video of all the kids in their school uniforms fighting to go to our taps, but we not only provided water, we provided electricity, we provided Wi-Fi, and we provided programs to give the mother skills like beading, and we're going to start some HVAC and some altitude energy classes in this water hub that has 3 classrooms in it. And is going to provide 1,000 gallons of drinking water to that village, a gallon a person.
That's so cool, man. It really is.
I literally cried when I watched the video. So I guess that's the modern man, right? Even James Bond cried a little bit at times. So that was.
So what do these systems need to run? Are they running on electricity? Because you don't need a water source. Yeah. It's not like you're filtering water. It's right. In the air. So does it need electricity to run like your trailer and things like that?
It does. So we need electricity because we have to create, just like that glass in the bar that I told you about. Okay, you put ice water in it, it creates that temperature change to get you to the dew point where water will condense. We have to do the same thing. So our what we've done in the past 15 years is really been able to decrease the energy consumption and increase the water production of our machines. So our small household unit uses about 650 watts of electricity. On the trailer, all of our machines, the purification, the Starlink, and the T100 machine uses about 5.2 kilowatts. So we have, panels that will generate about 12 kilowatts. So every hour during the day, we're basically pumping between 6 and 7 kilowatts of energy into the batteries. So you can run the trailer 24/7. So that's, sort of the design work. But like you said, all we need is electricity. And again, I say it all the time, Tesla is not about the cars. Elon Musk built cars because to keep the cash flow going. It's all about the battery storage, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, when Elon Musk really picked up was when after Marie hit Puerto Rico. and it was their Tesla walls that got that children's hospital up and operating when there was no electricity to help children's lives. So, the growth of our technology has really, I wrote a blog called The Perfect Storm, what's happening in our industry, because the solar technology, when I started, was not efficient. I mean, the panels weren't efficient. Now the panels are so efficient, and the storage capabilities of the lithium ion batteries have really taken off. And again, Elon did that through building a really cool car that people wanted to buy, so he could fund that. Mm-hmm. And now with the sun and with the air, we can create the energy we need to make the purest water. So it's sort of that aha moment, all of a sudden everything has come together, and using what nature gives us to provide for the basic necessities of life.
Makes sense to me. It's so cool, dude. It really is. I'm so glad we got to connect. I'm looking at the website right now, and I'm looking at 3 different machines, the Trident series you have. There's the Trident 12, which is stainless steel. Looks like it's a little smaller, kind of a home unit potentially. And then there's the Trident 100 and Trident 200. What are the differences between the 3?
So the Trident 12, exactly, it's smaller. It's got a 7-gallon storage tank. It'll make between 4 and 15 gallons of water in a 24-hour period, depending upon the temperature and humidity. And that's really the size. If you imagine a 5-gallon water cooler, the water dispensers that you see in every office that will soon be replaced by our T12, it's about that size. It's 40 inches high by 19 by 22 inches. So it's really a home and office unit. The T100 has a 50-gallon storage tank. It's what's in our disaster relief trailer. That'll make about 185 gallons of pure drinking water a day. And then the T200 was really in coordination. We built that for the military. We have 4 branches of military that uses our machines, but they had problems. They had contracted another company that couldn't meet the specs. And so that T200 was something that we did to meet the military specs. And that's the machine that's over in the water hub in Cameroon. So it's basically size, electricity and availability of how much water you can make. And then we just come out with our purification box, which you'll see down further, which is using our ozone technology. We had, again, in this 10 years, different people have been put into our lives. Amy Grant was using our home and office model, and she decided to donate her farm in Franklin, Tennessee with Vince Gill to a nonprofit so kids could go to summer camp, underprivileged kids could go to summer camp. And then she found out that Williamson County requires that you have a gallon a day in order to give you the permit of water. Well, it's as you know, Tennessee, Franklin, some of those farms, it's about 20 miles to get to a Kroger. And so she was like, this is impossible. So she called me up, and we had just built 2 T100s for a copper mine in Panama. And it just so happened, because we at that time we didn't have any inventory because it just too much capital, new emerging growth technology. You try and manage the cash flow. But the copper mine sold, and the new owner said, well, it's 50% down and the other 50% when you ship. We don't want to pay for the second one, so just ship us the one that they paid for. So that call was about 3 days before I got the call from Amy that says, I need a bigger machine. So she can't use the water because in the hills of Franklin, it's sulfur water. It smells like rotten eggs. It's really not drinkable.
Yeah, right.
And so she basically needed our technology. And then and then she allowed us really to use her farm because in Florida we don't get the colder weather as an R&D facility. And so this year, after a decade, we provided her with the purification box. So now she can have her water. We've taken the sulfur out with the ozone and with some technologies that we use with the purification box. So now we can capture rainwater. The disaster relief trailer can take water from a stream or a municipal source that's contaminated, that's a boil alert, and we can purify it and use it. So, we've really, over these 15 years have developed technologies that will meet most of the people's needs. So if you don't have a lot of electricity, but you want to purify water, it's 24 volts with our purification box, and one tiny panel would be able to run it. So we've my team is just incredible in innovation. I mean, Alvaro Da Silva been with me for 15 years. I think he's a ozone purification specialist by now. So
very cool.
It is.
Yeah, Matt, I love this. I'm so glad that you and I were able to connect. People can go check out Altitude Water. They got an Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channel. They got an X account. altdwater.com is the website. If you're interested in getting like a unit for your home or something, or even your business, or just want to touch base with Jeff and talk business about getting involved with something, because this is a very, very cool technology. Yeah, man, I'm really excited about this, Jeff. I'm glad we were able to connect and talk a little bit today. Obviously, you and I found some time on a holiday. It's Christmas Eve, but you know what? I feel like you're out there doing like little Christmas miracles with your water stuff. So this is extremely cool, and it fits the holiday very well.
Thank you so much. And two things, if I could just take 2 more seconds of your time.
Sure.
Number one, so if you mention this interview, we'll give the people a 10% off, which is a $400 savings on the T12. And number two, if you can't afford or just it's not something that you want to do, I just encourage people to like cool technologies, to like companies that are out there, maybe not trying to change the world, but trying to change the world around them, because that helps you getting into the algorithms and getting, so if you're not interested in buying a machine, just subscribe to our YouTube channel, just hit likes and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That's just as helpful. I mean, those are things that, when you find different companies, and I believe all companies have a social responsibility to give back to the planet. Again, we use a lot of mantras here, but we don't inherit the earth from our grandparents. We're supposed to be good servants of it for our grandchildren. And so when you start seeing companies doing that and giving back and working, support them just by liking them. You don't have to buy their products, but maybe repost something, maybe get it out there, because you never know that ripple effect, right? How far the ripples can go out. So.
Yep. And I was checking out your YouTube channel today. There's some really good stuff over there for people to check out. We talked about Amy Grant, Mind Army. There's a bunch of different things over there, little videos people can watch. And so, yeah, I would encourage the same thing. Go over to YouTube, learn a little bit more about Altitude Water and what they're doing, because you guys have a very, very cool company. So, yeah, again, thanks for your time today, Jeff. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have an amazing holiday, sir.
I already started that way by you giving me the opportunity to share our vision and goals with your listeners, and you and your family have a very Merry Christmas.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the show. Please take a minute to head over to www.savfair.com and subscribe to our publication.